Kia ora, Sarah.
Kia ora. So we're here to share a little bit about what is critical thinking and what is critical reflection. We'll be asking you to do that throughout the whole time that we are on this adventure together. So if you don't already know what these concepts are, then we're going to give you a wee outline of what to think about as you are reflecting and critically thinking as we give you these tasks and these questions to answer as part of your assessment.
Definitely. One thing that we want you guys to have the ability to do is to question everything that you've taken as common sense or everything that you've taken as just being, as knowledge in the past. Question everything. It's always fun.
Yeah. So chances are that we're probably going to get some things wrong. And that is actually great because we can't know everything. You know, no one can really know everything, right?
Yep.
And so developing your capacity to look at a concept or look at an idea and go, hey, does that land for me? Is that really true? And with critical thinking, we're particularly looking at logically linking ideas together. Yeah.
Exactly.
So taking one idea, another idea, how do they interact? And what does that mean for me? Yeah.
Also, when we're thinking critically, analysing where those ideas come from. Now, Sarah brought up a wonderful term here, logically linking these ideas together. So, when you're thinking critically, think about those ideas and where they're from and what they mean, but also have that ability to think about logic. Logic is informed by, and here's a term that I've used before and I'm going to use quite a bit, the dominant discourse or from your meta-narrative. So what's logical for me may not be so for yourself, Sarah.
Yeah, that's right. And so we can take that lens and consistently and systematically, systems and systematically is also something we're going to explore in sustainability, work through and approach these problems from those points of view. So systematically, consistently, it's gaining all the knowledge. It's not just about collecting knowledge and facts, but it's about gaining all the knowledge, questioning it, and then finding the links between all of it and making meaning and understanding for you in your context.
Definitely. So what we want you to do is to be able to determine the importance and relevance of ideas and arguments. Would that be a fair assumption?
Yeah, definitely.
Yep.
Yeah.
Those ideas and assumptions that have been given to us by our cultural norms, by our parents, by our societies, by the discourse that informs who we are, and aligning those with other ideas, with other normalities, with other discourses, and asking those questions of those two systems of belief and logic. How do these two things meet? How do they not? What does it mean?
Yes. Yep. Totally. And I love what you were saying about it. It's through my through my lens and through my experience, and also needing to be open to the ideas and the experience and the concepts of others.
Most definitely.
Self and others.
Yep.
Key concept. So that's critical thinking. So how is that different to critical reflection? So let's look at critical reflection for a moment. What's your take on critical reflection?
Well, critical reflection is interesting because it's like looking in a mirror, eh? You know, critical reflection, if we can critique our actions or the world around us and not accept anything as truth. You know, I've got this wonderful line that every now and again I spit out, the truth is, there is no truth. Now there's a wee ponderance for you. But if we can think about that idea of there is no truth in society, when we look at ourselves in a mirror, when we reflect back on ourselves, asking ourselves that question of, okay, so where does my truth come from? What does it mean for my identity and for my practice? So that critical reflection is looking at the whole and thinking, how do I fit into this? How does this work for me?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's looking at events or experiences that lead to some sort of personal growth or some sort of learning. And so you're having an experience being on this program. And so we will be asking you to go back and reflect on those experiences and say, what have I learned? And here's a wee tip to make it critical. It has to include these components. So it's what happened, okay? And it's if you stop there, then it's not critical, right? So it's what happened, okay? And then we move into, what is the next one? Now I need to reflect on it.
It's the
What happened?
the so what.
What? So what? Now what?
Yeah.
Okay. So what happened? What happened? So what? What does that mean? Okay, what have I learned? And then how do I apply that? So
Yep.
the application is really important. So what happened?
Yep.
What does that mean? What have I learned? And now what? How am I going to apply that?
Yep,
Yes.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. But also thinking about that as well, and one thing that we tend to do when we think about the what is we can articulate experiences in our life and with personal reflection to think about those life experiences, not just the the practical things that have happened, but we can look at those life experiences or even the practice and divide that into a positive and a negative experience. And positive and negative is a judgment call. It's a
Yeah.
judgment call that's based on a set of parameters or a set of ideas that have been given to us through societies, through normalities. So even stripping back and critiquing that idea of positive and negative. Well,
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah,
Because there's always two sides to the story. It could start off being a positive experience and then it turns, negative.
yep,
But I guess what we're sharing in this is that all your experiences are welcome and included and relevant for you to be able to reflect on. So some wee tips for when you are writing. What you don't want to do is just write about what happened and how you felt about it. Okay, that's not critical reflection, that's just
that's
reflection.
just journaling.
Well, yeah, just journaling, right?
We don't need your diaries.
Critical reflection is where you take it that next level, that next step. What did I learn? How am I going to apply that learning?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. And if you keep your critical journal, your critical reflections either in your book, if you video them, with that constant asking, the so what? This is what I did, these are my experiences, and so what? What does it actually mean? What lessons have I learned from this? What does it mean for me? How does it inform who I am? How does it inform my practice?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now what would be the practice part?
Yep. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. So through your critical reflection journals, when you're keeping those ideas of the what, the so what, the now what will come at the end, won't it, when we look at that kai experience through our assessments.
Yep, absolutely.
So you'll be taking an idea of something you've done in the past. The so what will be the conversations that we have together, either with us or in your talking circles. We want you to take those conversations and those experiences of other people, put them alongside your own understandings of the world and critique those. Critique how those things fit together. You're going to hear a lot of different worldviews, a lot of different stories of people's what. That critical reflection is to say, what does this actually mean for me as an individual now that I have this new knowledge, now that I have this new understanding, these other stories?
Yeah.
That's the so what. What does it mean for me? Then we want you to produce the now what.
Yeah, which often from sustainability, we talk a lot about what actions are you going to take? What behaviour are you going to take? Perhaps from a bicultural point of view, it's how now you might show up in the world differently or with other people. And then we link that into your assessment of the Kaihokai, which you will learn more about.
Yes, you will.
Cool. So that's a summary of critical thinking, critical reflection, and what we are inviting you into for the duration of this course.
Question everything. Remember, the truth is, there is no truth.